What's going on, guys? It's Simp here, and today I'm bringing you another recap, the first recap of the MW3 season. So today I'm going to be recapping our first 3 matches before New Year's. And yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into the recap. So going to the Boston match, the first map we ended up playing was Karachi Hardpoint. I'm not really going to go too deep into vetoes for the first matches because, I mean, no one's really played, no one's got a good map or a bad map, at least on the record. And yeah, we're just going to talk about it like it's first match. So first up, we ended up playing Karachi Hardpoint. And this is a map that's pretty consistent in the way it plays. I feel like this is one of the more straightforward maps in Hardpoint that we have. I know a lot of teams have been kind of playing it, but I think we've played this map 2 or 3 times, and I think we've won it all 2 or 3 times. So overall, you know, Karachi's been feeling pretty good. Like I said, this was the first Hardpoint we've played in a match, so we weren't really too sure if it was going to be too fast or too slow, or if it was going to be different from scrims, or really what the case was going to be. So we kind of just went into it, kind of just like feeling it out, kind of seeing how they're playing and just going off that. The biggest thing with this map, I'd say, is we didn't really have any P3 rotations, and P3 on Karachi is probably the biggest money hill, if not top 2. Just because of the way the spawns work and at least how far you spawn out, you only really get 1 or 2 pushes at it and then you just rotate. So us not rotating to that kind of made the map a little iffy, but it was still close. So I was actually having my way this entire first map, starting from like the first P2. Honestly, I was kind of hot the entire map, but it still ended up going to a last P1 even with what was going on. I mean, like I said, with the way Karachi plays, even if I'm getting all the kills in the world, if any of us are getting all the kills in the world, there's still a good chance other teams can get good time. But thankfully enough, with the kills I was getting, I had a streak to end up breaking the last P1, and which was huge. Otherwise, I think we would have lost, because P1's a pretty big money hill, I'd say, because it's once people are set up off a clean 3 or 4 wipe, it's kind of hard to get in. So that streak got him off that time, and it ended up helping us win this map 250 to 238. Which helped us get a 1-0 lead in our first series. So the second map of the series ended up being Karachi S&D, and Karachi S&D is kind of a weird S&D map in my opinion, because it honestly feels like offense kind of gets a lot of the map control in my opinion, with the way you can get the mid-map and at least the way like timings work. So this was a pretty back and forth map in my opinion. We ended up winning this one 6-5, but there's a lot of like playmaking between like Tyler and Snoopy and Capsule. Yeah, it was honestly just battle of the subs mid-map. On this Karachi S&D, we weren't really playing too fast or too slow. We were kind of just feeling it out because, you know, obviously maps can change from matches to scrims. Even like from online, like ladder matches and wagers to tournaments to league matches, it all plays different. So we kind of just played it slow, played it patient, and we kind of just felt out how Boston was going to play, because we weren't really sure how it was gonna end up going. This map ended up going to a round 11, and we ended up taking it. Tyler got pretty good, not timing, but he got a pretty good angle on Capsule from mid-map. Capsule was like laying behind this barrier, and he saw his foot and just ended up shooting him and killing him. And honestly, this was probably the biggest thing for that map win. It was him getting that blood and causing Preston to overextend and cause us to be in a 4v2, and from there we don't really lose those. So we ended up winning that map in a round 11 fashion, which is, you know, a great start. Next up, we ended up playing Invasion Control, and in my opinion, we didn't really play this map bad. Something just kind of unfortunate happened in our defense, and honestly, the story of Control isn't that much different this year as it's been the other years. It's just, you know, win your defenses and, you know, try and get as many takes as you can on offense. And I think we both ended up winning our first defenses. We ended up going 1-1. I think we did end up getting the harder point on our first offense, but we weren't able to capitalize on it. So we were up ticks going into I think it was the 1-2 round where we lost our defense. But I was pushed up in their base, kind of just spawn trapping them, and someone ended up spawning bridge where they don't usually spawn, and this ended up causing him to shoot me in the back, shoot Tyler in the back. And, you know, it was like the first domino that fell that caused them to get to the point. So because of that, they ended up winning that offense and the map 3-1. If we win that defense, I think we get defense again round 5, and who knows what happens from there. But yeah, we ended up winning that map 3-1. I don't think we played a bad map, but just tough that that Capsule got the spawn he did. So next up, we ended up playing Terminal Hardpoint, and Terminal Hardpoint plays a very, very, very specific way right now. Whereas if you don't have like Terminal security side, you kind of just don't get time on a lot of the hills. I don't know. Terminal's kind of like a cruddy map, whereas like you can fight for the good side. The only hill that you're not really gonna get is like you can get P1, but it's gonna be a really big contest fest, and then also P3, which is Plain Hill. And that hill you kind of want to just, I don't even know, just be a fighter pilot, I guess. But this was a back and forth map. I mean, the way Terminal goes, you kind of just trade hills. You kind of just trade 60s. Or, you know, some hills get mixy, but not often. So yeah, the biggest thing for us is we had bad Plain hills. Even when we had one at the end, Boston did a good job hitting the old time. And, you know, making it just mixy for the rotation to the last Burger Hill. And we ended up losing this map 250 to 209. I don't think it was honestly too crazy of a loss. I think it was kind of just Terminal, and we didn't play good enough, to be honest with you. So ended up losing that map. Now it's 2-2 going into a game 5 Invasion S&D. So last map was Invasion S&D, and going into this we were pretty confident. You know, obviously we haven't played this in a match, but you know, all of our S&Ds and scrims has been pretty solid. So we kind of just did the same thing that we did with Karachi. We kind of just took our time, you know, play with patience. And the big thing with S&D now, I'd say, is like with Dead Silence being in the game full time, you can honestly just make a lot more plays. And that honestly just happens a lot in this game. Like even round 1, I mean, this isn't necessarily a Deddy play, but round 1, you know, I smoked off a cut, ran through it with Deddy. Shot a guy off bomb, shot another guy who was watching over him, and then ended up clutching a 1v2. And it's like little things like that. You know, you might get sound horde a little bit easier in a certain way. You're like, you know, minute things, whereas things could go wrong in that sense. But yeah, I started off the first round pretty hot with a, you know, nice little AC poo. And from there, kind of just was kind of like the pace of the game. I mean, we were winning most of the rounds. I think we ended up winning 6-2 or 6-3 the series. Or not the series, but like the map. And a lot of those rounds we were kind of just dragging it out, making them force a play on us, and just getting bloods and utilizing it. So ended up winning 6-3 against Boston. And yeah, it was really good ice out of us, I'd say, this series. You know, we won around 11 on Karachi, and then we ended up winning another game 5, which is, you know, even more ice. So I'd say that was a pretty icy series out of us, and a good series out of us to start up 1-0 in the CDL. So the next match we had ended up being against LAT, and this was a team that has been pretty solid in scrims, I'd say. One of the better teams. So heading to this match, we were pretty confident it was going to be closer than, you know, the series count ended up actually being. But a lot of the maps were very close, so let's get into the LAT match. So the first map of the LAT series ended up being Karachi Hardpoint. And this is a map we were confident on because we ended up, you know, we obviously won it against Boston in our first match. And we knew we had to do better. We had to just, you know, make sure we were getting P3 rotations and the map would be a little bit better in our favor. And that's kind of what we ended up doing. We ended up winning this map 250 to 230. You know, I think the biggest thing was that we were actually rotating to the P3s. I think we broke one, but then we got instant broken after, which that didn't happen. I think we would have won about 30 or 40 points earlier. But yeah, we did a good job on the P3 rotations, and we also did a good job of making the P4s scrappy, the Church Hills, or like the Fountain Hills. A lot of the time, teams can kind of like keep the hill white and keep you at bay, but I think we did a good job of getting time and actually like keeping the team kind of pushed out, which you don't really see too often in, you know, the Church Hills. And then obviously at the end of the game, the final P1, when it's getting mixed time, actually causing a streak, he ends up getting the final kill on the guy top 3, which is probably the biggest kill on that hill in my opinion. And that kind of sealed the deal for us on our break. You know, we already had a couple kills without the streak. Streak got the last one, and from there we kind of just funneled them, stayed on time, and we won. We won first map 250 to 230. You know, very close, both crotches we've played, but you know, both times we've won it. So 0.0 going to Invasion S&D. All right, so going to Invasion Search, we already had a rep on the map, so we already knew kind of the pace that it kind of plays out in matches. Obviously, one singular match isn't a good enough sample size to like assume that's gonna be played, but you know, just having that one under your belt makes you play way more confidently, in my opinion, than when you don't have any. So overall, I think we stayed on top of things for this. You know, we had good retakes and good bloods, more importantly, on a lot of these situations. I think right now in Search, we have a lot of our timings down, and we have a lot of good patience on when people are going to push us and stuff. And with that, and on top of our teamwork with, like, you know, getting one, getting out, someone watching over us, stuns, nades, stuff like that, I think we're in a really good spot for Search. So we ended up winning that map 6-4. Like I said, I didn't do anything too crazily, nothing too hastily, and we ended up getting the dub. So up 2-0. Now we're going into an Invasion Control. So third map against LAT was Invasion Control, and this was a map we also played against Boston. So we kind of had some notes on what we could have done better against Boston than, you know, when we lost it, compared to, you know, obviously how we're playing it now. And I think we ended up playing it better. We ended up winning the Invasion Control 3-2. And I mean, there wasn't really anything too crazy with the map. It was just all defense wins. I think we had a good chance on both of our offenses to really win, but it came down to a single trade or, like, you know, someone getting a two-piece. So we ended up getting the takes on A, but we just couldn't end up capping it. But we got the job done, got defense round 5, and kind of just kept them in a spawn trap the entire time. I don't think it ever really got too dicey. And we ended up winning this match 3-0. And in my opinion, this was a big 3-0 for us because, like I said before, LAT, at least I thought, was going to be one of the better teams who played this split. And so us being able to beat them 3-0, I think is going to be big for our Major 1 seeding. So, yeah. We are now 2-0 in our split, and last but not least, going to a match against Seattle. So going to the match against Seattle, we kind of just kept the same mindset we've been having, you know, just play our game, make sure we're having good rotos, and I mean, that's mainly it. I mean, just good comms, good teamwork. I feel like it's like the big motto for this game, especially with how 150 health is and dead silence and everything. People can get lost easily. So first map again in the Seattle match is Karachi Hardpoint. So, you know, 3 times now we played Karachi Hardpoint. 3 times we've gotten the W. So first map of the Seattle series ended up being Karachi Hardpoint. And, you know, this is a map we've already played twice before in our other series. So we were super confident on this going into it. You know, obviously every time we play it, we get an idea of what we got to do better. And honestly, the biggest thing for this match or this map was probably us just staying ahead of the rotations the entire time. At least the entire like first 5 to 6 hills, I'd say we were pretty early on rotations compared to them. And you know, on top of that, with like we also were getting some decent scrap time. With a combo of those two, you know, getting the last like 15-20 on hills while getting new, you know, obviously rotating the new first. We were just set up to win the entire game. And I think the biggest moment for this was our P3 break on the second rotation. You know, they were set up on P3 after we just milked P2 time. And after like 10-15 seconds, we got in P3, we broke it. And we ended up getting most, if not all of that time. And, you know, P3 is obviously supposed to be the biggest money hill in that map, so you can't really be letting that happen. And yeah, we ended up winning this map 250 to 184. You know, it's a great start to this series because Seattle as well is another good team. At least they were in scrims heading up 2 matches. And so we knew this was going to be kind of a battle of a match. So second map, we ended up having High Rise S&D. And this is a map that can kind of not play weird, but can kind of get like timey, if that makes sense, where like people can get good timing, people can get bad timing. And honestly, a couple of these rounds, personally, I felt like I was kind of getting bad timing. And by the time I kind of lost full and was like, yo, let's start like challenging these guys together and like let's start actually like taking control of our timings. We were already down like 1-4. And so I think we still ended up making this pretty not close, but like we ended up winning a couple of these rounds. And you know, I think if we didn't start too slow, we probably could have won this map. But yeah, we ended up losing this map 4-6. I don't really think there were too many plays by anyone, too many clutches or anything. I think we just had a slow start, and you know, they ended up winning by 2. This is the first time we're playing crouching control in like a match, and so we weren't too sure how it was going to be played. But overall, I think we played this map pretty well. You know, obviously still feeling Seattle's play style out. And we ended up winning this one like 3-1. I think we ended up winning a good offense that kind of sealed the deal. You know, I think we got a clean 4 or 5 dead on the break, you know, like with a spawner, obviously. And that helped us get the diner point. And from there, with an offense win, we just don't really troll on defense. And we came out on top. So pretty sure we won that one 3-1. Let me double check for y'all real quick. Yeah, I ended up winning that map 3-1. Nothing too crazy. MC had himself a map. Zach had himself a map. And yeah, we just did a good job filling in points, doing a good job counting names, and just pulling people on defense. So the next hardpoint map ended up being Invasion Hardpoint, and this is a map that I've personally been frying on. Not just in hardpoint, but kind of like in general in control hardpoint. Yeah, I mean, I've kind of just been having on it, and it's kind of the story of this map too. It was a back and forth map, I'd say, with you know, obviously with the way the map plays out. But I think overall we did a good job of rotating to P5 and even breaking P5. I think the game winning play from us was them having the P5 rotation, the last P5 rotation, and us going in and breaking it for the last like 20 or 30. And, you know, obviously winning by like 10 to 20 points. It was what, 250 to 238 or something? Yeah, 250 to 228. And I mean, if they get the old P5 palace time with maybe some different spawns with them getting it all the time, who knows how that last big one goes. But overall, I think we had really good ice, really good teamwork at the end. With the palace break, obviously, you know, it doesn't happen unless you guys are on point. And from there, we just rotated the P1, kind of had them trapped in, and just didn't overchow, didn't troll, didn't scam. We took the dub. So we ended up going 3-0 this split. In my opinion, this is a great way to start. You know, obviously a game 5, but we did 3-0 a team, and yeah, makes us feel super confident going into the break. We don't really have matches until after the New Year's, but we have a lot of time to practice. And you know, obviously with the break, we're going to be on a new patch, new spawns, and so we're gonna have to learn that. Yeah, in the comments, let me know what you guys thought of the first 2 weeks of the CDL for the MW3 season. Personally, I'm having a good time watching. I'm having a good time playing. You know, dead silence and red dots makes the game feel 10 times better. So hopefully the game stays fun, and you know, everything just keeps getting better. So thank you guys for watching. If you're new here, make sure you sub to the channel. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.